Welcome, everyone, to the general gaming channel known as M12 Warthog Gaming. Hey guys, M12 Warthog Gaming here. I'm back with another RuneScape video. And today I want to talk about something. Last time I made a video about where I train, some of the things I prefer, personal preferences, because someone was curious and asked me if I played it and whatnot. Now, if you guys want to find out when I plan events and whatnot, if you want to be a part of them when I play RuneScape, you can more than happy to go check out my Zerg ID. I will leave that in my outro. Link to that, also to my Twitch, but I don't stream that often. I have crappy internet and all that stuff, plus with the internet, I really can't do it with, my setup is not really optimized for, that, in terms of PC recording, but when I do stream, it pretty much is a game on my Xbox 360, because I know I can do that. But more specifically, a question that was answered that I wanted to make a video about was, how do I grind out experience points in combat levels for extended periods of time, but make the most out of it? More specifically, that you have to find something that you can constantly meet and you don't lose a lot of health, but even still you'll lose health over time and you need to heal it, of course, with food and whatnot, but then you have to stop, go back and get food and whatnot and all this, that, and the other thing. And if you don't want to worry about that, you could just, like, slay goblins, and they're, like, level 4 and 2, but you don't get a whole lot of experience points. Me, I go for moss giants because I don't lose a whole lot of health, and I can constantly do that. When I do extremely... The red spiders down in the Varrock sewers, that I lose, like, about 20% of my health from doing that. But I get, like, a full bar of, or more than like 50% of a full bar of adrenaline, and I can just equip my shield and do this ability here, which heals all negative statuses. And on top of that, it restores 40% of my health. And I can actually show you the details of what it does here. And that's one thing you can do. Now, another thing that you can do is find a way to constantly have a source of food without having to always teleport back. Now, one of the main reasons why I originally went to Varrock sewers is because the second you enter the place, you can kill giant rats, grab the meat, and in one of the areas where you can find the moss giants or 2 dead trees, you can just chop them down and cook a few pieces of food. Now, here's the thing, though. In my bank, if I go there, I could show you, but I'm not going to, because I would have to access my PIN number. Now, if you guys have been to the Stronghold security, you would know that you should never use your real PIN number as your RuneScape PIN number. As a matter of fact, I have 2 separate ones. And what that does is it's like an extra layer of security, so if someone else tries to, like, access your money or your bank account, they can't. They pretty much only have access to what you have on and what's in your inventory. Because if I want to withdraw something from this, I would have to enter it in and whatnot. Now, another thing that you can do is find other ways to have food with you or constantly get food. As you can see in my inventory, I have Nature Rune used in alchemy spells. Elemental spells usually have air, fire, earth, and water spells like Water Blast or like Fire Blast kind of base spells also have that. But earth and water are also used in a spell which I can perform. I may not be the best in all areas. I think my strongest area would be melee fighting, as I have such high levels. My 2 highest levels, and when I mean 2 highest, because my highest level is 61, but for strength and for fire making, because I want to, because I've been making a lot of fires lately, because I want to finally be able to chop down yew trees, which I actually just got yesterday. And I can make bones to banana spell, and I can just take all the bones in my inventory and just change it to banana. So after slaying a few of them, you can get it. Although, it works on all bones in inventory, whether they're big or small, so you might as well get as many of them as possible. But here, I also have some ranged equipment if I want to pop on that stuff and use some range. But I keep my boots on and my gloves on and my helmet, I guess. If I find a ranged helmet, I'm gonna keep that in my inventory. For those of you, because I know someone asked me this on Xbox Live, because this whole thing where they don't properly link something, I think they have like a old account on YouTube or something and they can't properly link it, which is why they keep messaging me on Xbox Live, which I don't mind doing. I've put that in a few of my videos, many of them, of course. Sorry for the clearing throat, I'm a bit sick today. But use steel nails. Steel nails were something I constantly used when I was making a house. I used to be a member, but we moved out and whatnot, didn't have internet for a while, and so I couldn't play it. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay for membership for a game that I'm not going to be able to play, but now I'm in the backswing of things. I may or may not get it and don't know, but that's it. I think since the last video, I customized the highlight things of my armor. As you can see here, it's purple for the torso, blue for the head, green for the leggings, red if you look closely on my gloves. Then I got blue for one sword, green for the other, not sure which is offhand and which is your main sword. They're the same thing technically, it's just that one's used in a different hand, but yet one does more damage than the other, if you look here. And knowing that is good, but as back to the main question, specifically, you want to maintain an area where you can survive in for a while and constantly kill enemies. For lower levels, it's different than higher levels and whatnot. If I go to the world map here, right across this main bridge, right here in Lumbridge, you can spam kill, like, all the goblins you want. Pretty easy to kill. Maybe even a few giant rats behind here. Well, actually, they have this giant battlefield of some sort that I think was part of a battle between Saradomin and Zormak. But that was a while ago. I'm not sure if there's a new battle going on or whatnot, but I was actually a part of that. Or you can go over here, there's a little bit higher level people for the jail, and many different places you can. Now, you gotta find one, and usually you gotta do that based on your skill level and what type of weakness. For an example, if you're just starting out, and you're, say, like a level 20, for all melee skills, say like your contusion is level 20, your defense, your melee, like your defense, attack, strength, contusion, all level 20. Say like you're a good, well-rounded in terms of things, and they're not all over the board like mine are, where I have like 59 attack, 58 contusion, like 61 strength, and like 56 defense and whatnot. But say like it is that. Say like it is well-rounded. Well, the thing with that is that you don't want to, and you're wearing like melee warrior armor. You don't want to go to the front of Airrock and train on the wizards there, because the magic just will annihilate you, as they're pretty much boiling themselves in the armor. Now, the way this goes for the combat triangle, and that's another thing that you need to know when you want to grind out stuff, is that melee beats archers because of our armor pretty much protects us from the arrows. Well, archers' arrows can easily penetrate the wizard's robes and the equipment that they use. Now, of course, if you're a wizard and your weakness is against archery attacks, you could use, say, warrior armor to protect you, but that actually gives you a negative effect on how well the effectiveness of your offensive magic skills will be. I know because for a time I tried to practice my magic wearing mytherical armor, and that didn't go so well. For obvious reasons. And then the mage pretty much can just boil a warrior in their armor when they pretty much heat it up and whatnot and all that other stuff. Now, one of the biggest things that you can do to help you maintain, help you keep your HP up when you're trying to grind out for hours and hours, is bonfires. Now, once you light something, you can just craft and add logs to bonfire. If you add a bunch of them in, like 20 or so, of course, it's like you freed this fire spirit and they'll give you a reward. Most of the time, it's just a couple of runes. One time I got like 40 body runes, which is kind of cool, such as there. It doesn't always happen, but when it does. And the heat from the bonfire usually gives you a bonfire active bonus. Now, it doesn't always tell you that a bonfire bonus has been given, but sometimes it tells you down in the chat. I think it gives you like a 3.1% increase to your HP overall, and depending upon the better logs you use, the longer it lasts, such as the U logs, which I'm using, requires level 60 fire making to actually burn them in bonfire and to start a fire with them, and a level 60 wood cutting to actually chop them down. But as you can see here, my bonus lasts about 53 minutes. Now, on top of that, I got a reward of cosmic runes. Now, I'm just going to drop these because I don't really use them. I'm not into magic. My preferred class is a warrior / archer. But I do train magic occasionally. That way, in case if I need to use magic, I can. And I actually do use it, but not for offensive capabilities. As my class is like, if I'm going into battle, I'm probably going to be melee. I have archery stuff in case I need to take people out at a distance. That's what I do. Now, as you can see here, after killing a few of these guys, I've taken quite a few damage. Now, I am going to take these big bones as well. And then I can continue fighting people. Now, of course, you could always have potions that increase your strength and your attack temporarily. And what potions do is they affect your skill level temporarily. What it would do is it would bring your skill level for, like, say, strength higher than 61 for me, because that's where mine's at. But its base would still be 61. So it, after a while, would start to go down, back down to 60. Now, the most common way that this happens is either through potions in which your stats change magic that weakens you, from spells that people purposely use, which are designed to weaken certain stats. Or what's the easiest way to have you weaken yourself stats? Well, not really weaken, but weaken some stats, increase others, would be drinking stuff. Now, I don't condone it. And if you do decide to drink responsibly. But, you can, like, say, like, drink a beer. It will increase your strength by, like, I think a level or two. But it will, like, lower your, I think, your attack or something. So, if you want to find a balance. Now, if you want to increase something, but not have any of the downsides, you could always use Rejuvenate, which is this skill. Requires a shield, which, of course, I have. Which I swap between each one in case I want to use a rune shield instead of a second sword. And when it gets to maximum health, or maximum, then I just go ahead and use it. Now I'm going to constantly take these bones because I can just use them as food later on. One thing else you should note is knowing the enemy you're fighting.
If they can attack at range and you have to leave to go get something, you must do it quick like I'm doing. Now, of course, this moss giant. Apparently, I do not know what that lock does. But, I can tell you that, I think that lock has something to do with whether or not they automatically attack you. Cause I noticed that, the king scorpions in the tunnels underneath Flador where the mines are, it's like the area right next to the Miners Guild, but you can't quite get there because you don't have, because I can't quite get there yet because I don't have a high enough mining level. That kind of thing. That thing can easily, in that area, there are like king scorpions that spawn. I think there's somewhere in between a 40 and 60 for combat level. And they will automatically attack you. I don't know if you have to be at a certain level for them to be like, okay, this guy's too strong, I'm not gonna bug him. Like, not worth my time kind of deal. I'm not sure how that goes. Now that I have my shield on, I can just easily regenerate 40% of my health over 10 seconds. And if you were to have negative combat stats, it will just get rid of it and whatnot. And say, like, I was low on food, which... just pretend I am. Or I'm low on health and I can't use that. I could just use my bones to bananas, which I actually have as a shortcut in my action bar. Action bar 2. Which is going to be a mixture of my range and magic, because I don't really use magic and range that much. I just mainly use melee. And I just have 3, which is my favorite emotes. And these are a mixture of defense abilities in melee, because they... of attack and strength, because they go hand in hand. I recently took out 2 of them that were from my old setup from the action bar that just knocked back people, because they had like 3 that knocked back. And sometimes fighting moss giants, you'll get the damage bonus, or like you'll say this does like instead of doing the base damage, it does like 25 extra, which it would say 125, because 100 would be just your base damage, or 100% of what you do, of what your damage normally does. Instead, it's like 25% more. Plus, it stuns them by knocking them back. So they may not get stunned, but it still does damage. So I keep this here so I can stun people, but I added these 2 in because I sometimes like to use berserk on people and use 2 swords at once. Now, this is also another major factor as to grinding out, because I know last time I just answered the question of where do I like to grind out hours on end on certain when it comes to grinding out combat, but some of the factors and knowledge you need to know in order to be able to do this for extended periods of time is something that you should know. Because I figured if it was super strong and I take it down, I get a lot of experience points, not really worrying about the fact that you could die from it and lose like a lot of items, which is what I did. And that happened to me once when I was trying to train on White Knights in Flador inside the castle, and I died. Now, I didn't remember how to get back to Flador, the direct route, right from Lumbridge. You, like, go a little bit north, then you, like, go west, and then you go, like, north again, like, you follow this path. I did not know that route. The only route I knew is that you go up to Varrock, then you go up to, like, then you go to the west, to the Barbarian Village. And then a little bit southwest from the Barbarian Village lies Flador, and that's the only way I knew how to find him by the time I got there, that I like, lost all my items and whatnot. So, that became a problem. Now, I'm not gonna turn these bones into bananas. I'd rather get rid of all these bananas and get more bones and make full use of the spell. But I didn't do it before because that was for demonstration purposes only. But you should take that into consideration too as another factor for if you want to stay down in a certain area and like train rather than like constantly having to leave to go get more stuff. Potions do help and whatnot if you want, but most likely if you're a free user, like me at the moment, I was a member, you're probably not going to be able to make them yourself except for maybe a basic attack and strength potion, which you can actually find out how to do that from a trainer, from someone who can train you in the basics of that in Birthra. Now, of course, on top of that, you can... Of course, on top of that, you can't have someone in Varrock do it for you, which was before level 5 of like almost every member skill. Like you're limited to level 5 for member skills. But as you can see, I'm limited to that. But if I was in a free user world, as an example, my carpenter skill, construction skill, would be level 39. It's limited to that. I can still do level 5 member skill stuff, but nothing more than that. There was a time period where you couldn't even do herb lore. That was members only at 100%. And the only way to get better stuff in terms of potions was have it traded to you. And it'd probably be a basic potion that you could use, but you couldn't make it yourself, and that you had to buy from a member. Or what you could have done would be go to a person who could make you a potion. You actually have to go to him for a potion for a certain quest. Not gonna say what, don't want to spoil anything that may happen in terms of that quest if you haven't done it already. But what you do, though, is that he'll ask you to give you a limpet root and some spider eggs, which are down here, and you'll do it. But the way that you make it uses a different recipe. So I don't know if he uses a different recipe, but I tried both strength potions, and they do the same thing. Although I don't go to him anymore because I can make them myself. And I don't know if they changed his recipe to match the kind that you have to use in order to make it. I'm not sure. But, that's how I used to get them. But, yeah, I think that's all I have on this, to go into more detail about a specific question. Because of that, if you guys, have questions on this, feel free to, message. Whoops. What did I do? I do not know what I just did. Anyway, feel free to leave me any comments, questions, or feedback in the comment section down below. Message me on my Zerg ID, Xbox Live. If you have any more questions about this RuneScape stuff, I don't mind answering them and making videos about them. Above my player's head, you can see my gamertag, which I spelled out a little. And yeah, I'll see you guys later in another video. Bye-bye.